Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have a very exciting matchup with that team versus LatinForce. Today we have kind of a good one coming up for us. Tonight I will be casting with a lovely co-caster, Tbnroil. Yes, I kind of just accidentally gave away the first map as it did appear on the top POV of the gameplay, so do forgive me, but the first map is going to be Arctic, chosen by that team. But instead of that little bit of a goof up I just did, but how are you doing tonight, Tbnroil?
I'm doing great, and how are you doing?
I am doing pretty good now, so I'm recovered from COVID, so I'm now pretty happy and excited to do some casts. I've been trying to do some casts, but say I've been sounding a little bit too groggy to kind of get on the main stage. I do sound a little bit iffy, so if I do need to, if I do ever go quiet, just know I'm probably coughing, just to refresh my throat, and we should be pretty good. Tonight, as we do see, we are going to be playing Arctic for bans for this evening, for going for the bans for that team. It is going to be Abandoned and Downfall, so pretty large map bans, of course, but the two largest maps in this game, other than the Quarantine. This is a pretty understandable ban from that team, as it is kind of an iffy map. If you're not particularly strong in terms of those long range engagements, you kind of can't really power through it with some speed and aggression, so it's kind of understandable to why they have chosen to ban this. And if we do have a look into their records for so far, this team, well, that team is a brand new team to VRML, started this season, and just it started very late into season, as they've only played, I believe, 3 matches, so they are very new. And so far their best map is Bazaar, played it twice, won it both times, 12 rounds played, won in 9 rounds out of those few times, so pretty solid pick. And Arctic they have not played, so it's going to be an interesting one, because we don't really have any experience. We don't really have any information to go off in some ways to really make a justification of why they have chosen these bans. But they did play Quarantine, they did win it, but maybe they have a weakness in larger maps. And they did lose Snow Peak, which I did play before, so that might be a reason. But going on to LatinForce's ban, so our lovely co-caster TB can talk all about them. Tonight it is going to be, for LatinForce, it's going to be Tanker and Subway.
Yeah, and when looking at those maps, you can really... those maps are definitely close combat maps, and when we look at banning those, it's not that LatinForce is particularly bad at those maps. It's more of the fact that LatinForce just doesn't want to play a team that has undefeated record on both those maps, and I think that that team... Oh, that's going to screw me up in the match, but... is really good at close quarter maps, and so LatinForce being better at longer range maps, and with that team being good at close range maps, it's gonna be interesting. And I mean, I don't think that have different play styles. I think they do definitely play it both fast, but I could be wrong here, as I mean, that team is a new team, and I believe this is the first cast they've ever had on them, so
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and the bans are a great way to look at a person, I mean a team's history, and but I just think that these two teams are similar, but they're banning definitely opposite.
On the sides of spectrum, yeah. Of course, we have that team which is banning the larger maps, and LatinForce banning the Tanker, which isn't very played often, which is understandable. But Subway, many people's favorite, so it's kind of a idea. If they do know that LatinForce is pretty strong in terms of that map, and we do look at LatinForce's previous stats, Subway so far this season has been played 4 times, but they have only won it once, with a 25% win rate on Subway, so it's kind of a weak map for LatinForce. So maybe it might be it's an interesting ban to why they have chosen to actually, no, I take that back. It's LatinForce's ban. That is why. Yeah, LatinForce's isn't very strong at Subway, so that probably explains why they have banned it, if they do know that that team is pretty solid at it. But enough of my jibber jabby talking about the bans and such. As we all do know, the gameplay is going to be on Arctic for the first map. Checking over here, it is going to be that kind of like western southeast objective between those boxes, of course. Looking over here on the camera, we do see it is quite a capable objective, as you do need to worry about that center catwalk. It is a very open objective. With a good few smokes and a flashbang, you can easily overpower and get that quick cap.
Oh yeah, definitely. And with there being 3 entrances coming towards this objective, it's really hard to defend. You're gonna you're gonna need to be able to cover every single entrance to the place. So it's gonna come down to what those teams are gonna be able to doing, and it's gonna be interesting, especially with Arctic being a really small map. Even though it looks bigger on the map, and even when you're in the tent, when you get in the round and you are moving, you can probably cross the map, and I'm just gonna say this under 30 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong, from corner to corner, but I mean, I think both teams can compete at close range, and so with LatinForce having the defensive, I think this objective is definitely Marsoc sided because of how close it's how hard this objective is to defend.
This is a very hard objective to defend, and overall this map is quite, you know, Marsoc based, I must admit. I think there is only one objective, which, if we do have a look over here, has to be this kind of like north, no, I should say like the south east objective, because this is quite a very folk-sided objective, as it's quite in the corner, very easy to lock it down with a speed 4-2, so very understandable to why this would be a very folk-sided objective. So if we do get it, of course, this might be a very easy point for either side, depending on how good their defense will be. We are still waiting for a few players to show up to the lobby, but we should be pretty soon good to go, and I'm pretty excited to see how both these teams will be playing. Of course, that team, brand new team full of experienced league players. You know, they have done pretty good against some gold teams. Did beat Agent Moss, which was a very close game. A very, very close game. Looking into that team's previous records, they played Agent Moss and won with a 9-9 score. What a... Talk about a way to have a super end close game for them, for at least. So that kind of definitely kind of shows their kind of skill level. Being in that gold, you know, super high silver, medium gold range. So be interesting to see how they will be doing for this evening. And I did hear the countdown, so we should be starting very shortly into round 1.
Wow, you definitely have better ears than me. Not hear that.
Well, that's probably because I've Onward said very loudly. Looking over to LatinForce, which does get the stock standard spawn. We will be seeing from that team the very north-eastern spawn for themselves. This does give them a little bit of freedom to how they kind of want to push this, as they do have the entire map. We'll be going for a mostly north-dominated push here. Nice little aggressive pick there from Iron Ryan.
Oh, definitely are leaving the objective completely wide open from this little alleyway here. I mean, anyone can walk up and just get in here and cap. If Argentino goes down, then it's gonna be cap central, especially with their defense being more centered around the helipad, which I think is probably a bad idea, but who knows, maybe it'll work out for them.
It might be a definite weakness. My main concern, as we do see Lone Senpai pushing through the center, we'll be starting to put some pressure onto the objective here. It's kind of all up to Place and, of course, Argentino. Kind of lock it down. Out goes a flash. Ryan does come around with the pre-fire. Doesn't catch any connection onto Argentina, which is kind of watching this Jiggle Peak corner here behind this red container. It is a very powerful spot here. Nice C4 from Place. Does get the pick onto Kuma.
Yep, Placencia with a nasty pick, but Dig comes back with a refrag on Placencia, and that's going to be the end of Placencia.
Leaving us down to a 4v3 with that team in the lead of kills and people still standing up. We're going over back to Lone Senpai, which is still putting that pressure on. Throw the second flash. Swoops around the corner. Trying to get close to the objective. Trying to get that cap in. Can he get the cap in time? No, will be punished. Nice little double kill there from Argentino. Nice little double or triple peck there from Ivans, leaving down to a 1v3.
The shift of tide there from LatinForce being down and being able to recollect their team and take out 3 of them definitely helped. And with the little alleyway being exposed from Argentino, they didn't really pick him out. They just went for the cap. If he could have had it, or they could have had it. Lone Senpai definitely could have had it, but with Ryan coming around the corner right behind him, Argentina was able to just pick them both off. I mean, that's why you don't stack up in matches, but definitely could have been a cap if Lone Senpai was faster.
It would have been a bit more of a more likely cap. They did bring some smokes, but that will be the end of the round. Argentina catching the pick onto Shorty, and that does secure the first point, going for LatinForce. So far, such a very nice result going for LatinForce, as this isn't their map pick. This is going to be, of course, VAT teams. This is going to be the home team for this evening, which does have 2 map picks. Anyway, which is new to the VRML format, of course. When matches are decided, there is a home team and there's an away team. The home team gets to choose 2 maps of their choice, and will have to tell the enemy team their bans first in a corresponding order in some ways. So you have to say, we're banning this, and then the enemy team said they're going to ban that one, and it kind of goes, due to the new Season 14 new rules, which do add 2 bans on both sides due to the recent map changes, which now do have 2 new custom maps, which is going to be Shipyard and Arctic, plus with the additional map of Egress being added very shortly into the next week of VRML, due to Suburbia being taken out due to some performance issues relating to PCVR on Suburbia, which is very unfortunate. But hopefully DPI will be able to address the technical issues on Suburbia for PC players, and it will be added back to the map pool very shortly, we do hope. Fortunately, this was kind of a sad ban, as Suburbia is loved by many, but sometimes it's kind of all you have to do. Sometimes you have to put down that trope about it.
Yeah, a lot of people do love Suburbia, but with the new update, and unfortunately there was a few bugs. Didn't really affect much of the match, but it was enough that the moderators decided to remove it from the map pool, which was, like you said, unfortunate, but I mean, a great choice, I think, by the moderation team, as the moderators do so much for this league, and this round is going to be a good one as we hop in round 2.
Seeing some pre-fires coming out from Argentino into the center box. We will be seeing from that team quite a OBJ based defense. We are going to be seeing Lone Senpai on the red container, looking down through the south. We need to kind of worry about Place and Ivans, which are starting to push up. We'll be throwing some flashes and some smokes. May see a nade possibly. Gonna catch out any C4s. He's holding this very common spot, so he might be pre-fired. Oh no, an accidental TK from Kuma onto Dig. Next to the objective. Oh, and he's just adding more insult to injury. Found it. Lone Senpai is going to be flashed. We'll be dropping down. We'll be taken out from Place.
Sensi are moving up through the middle, taking out most of the part of the defense.
Oh, what is happening? What is happening? And just like that, it is over. A nade thrown by a teammate takes out 2 players. Oh no. Wow. Looking at that replay, it is utter carnage. Down goes a nade, takes out Ryan and someone else. And then Shorty the devil threw that grenade onto the objective, taking out 2 of his teammates. Ah, that has to hurt for his team. That has to hurt. Very unfortunate nade, but hopefully they can try to get it back. Coming on for the next few rounds. That team is looking not looking very good so far on their first map. They did choose this map, so it's kind of the idea that when you choose a map, you are willing to, you're gonna go into that map expecting to win it. It is gonna be a tough one. I'm not saying you're always gonna win, but it's the idea that you've chosen this map because you're better than the enemy team in it. So it is upsetting when you do get beaten in it.
Yeah, but it's only been the first 2 rounds, and that team can bring back their momentum and
oh yeah, easily
take it back. So
easily.
This objective is another hard one to defend. So we'll have to see.
This objective, is going to be a very aggressive one from that team. If they do rush it very hard and fast, they could try to catch LatinForce off guard, but on a quick, this is the very quickie spawn attack objective, which it's going to be a juicy watching to see how LatinForce will be kind of preparing for this. We'll be seeing a 4-man push through the south. Algorithm smokes. No shots have been made yet. C4, a flash. Argentina kind of going for that flank. Is kind of locking down the south. Will does take a pick onto Kuma. Doesn't check behind him though. Will be punished from Lone Senpai.
Which makes it a 4v4, and the flash is coming out, maybe even hitting Lone Senpai there.
Oh, nice nade there from Shorty onto place. Argentino does get the pick onto Dig. Lone Senpai is going for that cap. Tablets is out in hand. Can he get the cap in time? This is what the team needs. Come on, Lone Senpai.
Don't have a mono cap here.
And the cap goes through for that team from Lone Senpai. Definitely upsiding for the team. As I say, it is very possible for that team to kind of get it back, and that cap will definitely benefit them massively. Now, even out the scores down to a 2-2. You know, if that team can win a Volk round, maybe get another cap on their Marsok round, this could be game in some ways. You know, this is going to be kind of tight. I'm imagining this is going to be quite a tight ending, I imagine. I think LatinForce is going to win this round, and then it's going to be up to that team to try to see if they can decide if they can get that Marsok point in.
And I mean, that round was really fast, considering that it only lasted 58 seconds. I mean, that's pretty fast, and to cap in that time is unfortunate for LatinForce, as they could have just sprayed down behind the cars and picked off Lone Senpai as they made their body quite able to be hit laying on the floor with their body spread out. But with that, it was great cap. It was great. I mean, and bringing that momentum back to their team, it also really helps. So
this will, you know, greatly benefit the team, and seeing how they're going to be doing coming up in the next few rounds. Of course, LatinForce will be on the attack, but you say that is a really quick round. I think my quickest ever round on this objective was actually 40 seconds. I do recall it because I remember on my team we have this little nade lineup, which is super powerful if anyone's going to be pushing to the south. And somehow we was able to catch off 3 players instantly with that one nade, and oh my, how beautiful it felt.
On to round 4.
We'll be seeing some drum mags being traded here for LatinForce's team. They'll be pushing off, kind of going for a different approach. We'll be kind of going for the more central push, not going so much south. Flashbangs are being held in the dozen. Puma does kind of rush out here. Does get taken out though from place. Ooh, very nice pick there. And just like that, I almost called it. It does appear it's going to be a LatinForce win on the Marsok round. Ivan's going for that cap, standing right behind Lone Senpai. Just get the pick onto him.
As long as they don't kill Shorty.
No! The TK!
Oh.
Oh, that has to hurt. The unfortunate TK onto Ivans, which already had part of that code in. I instantly pressed the wrong button, but I instantly pressed the wrong thing and went to a replay, but oh my, that has to be a bit rough. But I did call it. I did believe that LatinForce will be winning that round, leaving us down to a kind of a tiebreaker for that team. They have to make sure they win this Marsok round. It is crucial for them to win this round.
Yeah, I mean, it seems every time a team goes faster in the rounds, they win, as that round was only 50 or 42 seconds.
It's a very, very short round, so gonna have to hope the energy will keep up. So I am loving it for these short rounds. So I was kind of I don't know, I mean, say for me personally speaking, as I am an EU caster, I don't particularly know much about NA teams and such, but it's always interesting kind of like looking at different play styles, because as people say, there is a massive split between NA players and EU players. How we play Onward is somewhat different, I must admit to you. As much as I don't want to say it is true, but it is very true. Watching NA teams compared to EU teams, it's just, EU teams take it slower. We all do. As much as we like to deny it, we all do.
Okay, a fairly simpler code.
Yeah, but don't get discouraged, because holding those angles against these fast teams can just be as effective as pushing super fast against slow teams. And Onward is built to go either way, no matter what type of playstyle you run, what type of weapons you run. It's a fun game, and if you aren't able to play it, then watching these casts is the best thing you can do. You get to learn so much, and by the time you get your quest or PC to play, you'll be right on with these professionals.
Of course, this is the kind of a lower ranked team for this evening. This isn't the top play for this evening, but of course, we all have to kind of start somewhere in some ways, and when you do start out, it is going to be difficult. Of course, I do know that that team does have, you know, experienced players, and LatinForce has been around for a few seasons now, so they're not new to this, which is understandable.
And when he means lower teams, he means lower diamond plays.
Lower diamonds and such, yes.
Yeah.
In the VRML thing, there is a few different ranks. You have bronze teams, silver teams, gold, and diamond, and master teams, which is the big boys, if you could call them that. The teams which have perfected their craft, played the game for many hundreds of, maybe even thousands of hours. Ooh, nice trade between Vad and Ryan. Very nice little trade. In the center box. This led it down to a 4v4. That team is kind of taking this round very slowly compared to the previous round, which is very flashbang, smoke heavy. It's kind of slower, more relaxed pace, so this might benefit them here. Of course, looking at the objective, we will be seeing we do have place Cinia and Argentina, which is on the objective. Shots are being had from Lone Senpai. Still kind of waiting to see when that team will be kind of pushing up.
Yeah, neither team has yet to use even half the time period they are given, which is 6 minutes in a round, with the closest one being 3:25. So I don't think either team has to worry about time limit here, but definitely slower than usual.
This has been taken very, very slowly compared to usual, as you said, but Lone Senpai pushing up through the north. Is inside that north box. We'll be trying to push out through the double door section here. It's going to be a tough run.
Yeah, I'm giving their position away. With 2 people watching that angle, it's going to be hard to push out here, especially with the cheeky little angle Navarro is watching here.
Smokes are being thrown, which will help them beneficially. Out with the second smoke. We'll be able to cross safely. Nice pick there. Onto Shorty from Argentino. Ivans is kind of aware now of their position. Navo is kind of swooping around, just coming in that corner, just get a pick onto Dig. Kind of securing Lone Senpai and ended up with a trade.
Ivans ended up flashing themselves there. They need to get around and take out Lone Senpai before Kamar comes around. Kamar's bolting for this door. Will it be enough?
Oh, very nice little aggressive peek there, and it will be going for LatinForce on the first map. Pretty good score to overall, 4-2. Solid in between. Say, LatinForce did an excellent job of display, shutting it down on the defenses and almost could have had a cap. I say.
Yeah, and with that team being able to pull off that cap was incredible too. I mean, both teams just playing incredible so far, and I mean, the next round is going to be interesting.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how these next teams will be deciding what map they want to pick, which will be LatinForce's choice. Might be seeing a rehost if someone has left the lobby. If it will be, please do exclude us for a short moment as we do switch lobbies and get everything back in sorted, but I'm not exactly sure. Yep, and we will be seeing a rehost. Very nice. Let's say, you know, I came into this scrim, I won't say scrim, I came into this cast looking for some very quick NA action, and it's been very rewarding in some ways. I know I've had a Had a typical Onward caster glitch.
Mhm.
I don't have the ability to press buttons in the menus. Oh no. Please do excuse me as I quickly do reopen up Onward. The joys of being a caster sometimes. Let's say excellent display of skill and definitely going to be a very nice addition for LatinForce's records, but I don't think they have played a Arctic before in Season 14. If I do check in their previous seasons, I don't think Arctic has been in the roster. I know Season 13 didn't have any custom maps. Possibly Season 12, so I am very new when it comes to it. But yeah, picking over to LatinForce, they did play Arctic once in Season 12, so I guess that's something in some ways, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
They lost it, but they played it at least. At least that counts for the record. Okay. Ooh, okay. And ladies and gentlemen, for the second map pick for this evening, we are going to be seeing Shipyard. Kind of another second custom map, which is very nice to see. It's very glad to see that the custom maps for this season are being highly appreciated. I do love Shipyard in some ways. It's very nice to see Shipyard and Arctic being recently added into the new maps, because yes, they were played before in previous seasons, but it just kind of gives that bit of freshness to it, because the custom map makers are very highly talented, so all regards go to them, of course. Good job on creating such high quality maps, which are very exciting and very interesting and very in depth. I can't remember, did they remove the massive boat horn? I can't recall. I haven't played a Shipyard in ages.
I want to say they did, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, we will find out very shortly when it deafens me, if they have removed it or not. Would be great to see if they have removed it. Because, oh my, that boat horn, oh. I understand it gives the map character, but geez, how annoying it is, and how loud it is as well. Of course, like Shipyard being one of the custom maps, and as we are kind of waiting for a few more players to get into the lobby, which is new to Onward, of course, we kind of might as well go over some of the core aspects of Onward, of course. We are playing a game mode called Uplink, and in Uplink you have like this search and destroy kind of idea of it, if you want to call it that. There's two sides called the Marsok and the Volk. The Marsok side is trying to go for a cap, which is when they put a code into their tablet next to the objective, and that gives their team 2 points compared to the normal 1 if they won from killing all the enemy opponents. For Volk, your main objective is to defend the objective to make sure they do not cap, and to also make sure that if you do kill everyone, you do gain an additional point. It is kind of very crucial to defend the objective, as it is kind of whoever gets 4 points on either side wins that map, so it is crucial to win. We'll say to win, to protect that objective, as to be 2 points down compared to 1 is very steep. Especially as most maps in Onward, which I personally feel are rather Volk-sided, but I do find that Volk and Marsok are rather balanced in terms of it, because being able to get 2 points compared to having slightly better equipment is, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I do find some of the maps, like Downfall, are very Volk-sided in terms of how they're designed and styled. But what's your thought about it?
Sniper. Unless you have a great sniper, and then it's not whenever some teams like Pantheon and just those long-range teams are super good at it. I believe, running custom maps is an interesting choice because, they were made by, obviously, people who play within the community, and I believe that both of these custom maps were made by people who also play in VRML, which also helps. But that just doesn't mean they're DPI. I mean, they definitely meet the standard that VRML requires for these maps to be, but they aren't DPI maps. And DPI is Downpour Interactive, of course, but I mean, it's interesting because custom map makers can have their way with the map, they can have fun and add stuff. I know when USS Quest was up on the map pool, there's some fun little things and stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting that both maps are Customs.
So I do highly respect all the custom map makers. Sorry about my voice, as I did mention before, but yes, so I do highly respect it. And we are going to be seeing a round reset. I believe that team did have a player drop, unfortunately, so we will be going back into the scoreboard. A round reset, which anyone which isn't aware, is basically when a team kind of suicides altogether, so that it resets the entire round without giving any points. This has to be done within a certain time limit. I believe it's 30 seconds before. I think it's 30 seconds in the round is the overall limit you're allowed to. And there has been times in the past when, because of this 30-second limit, teams which are super fast and aggressive on cargo, for example, have had instances where they've beaten the limit. So imagine having such a performance to where you killed the enemy team before the 30 seconds, and then just like that, it's a round reset because of how quick it was. It is very amusing when that happens. But so a round reset is very important because that team has received a player drop. No, I don't believe we have received any word of a timeout. If we do, we will be going into a short intermission where we will be seeing some of the videos from the sponsors. And please, massive shout out towards the sponsors, of course, which do help fund VRML and what we do here as a casting group and everything else. Of course, the sponsors for this cast are going to be Downpour Interactive, as before mentioned, DPI, ProTube VR, VR Cover, HyperX, VR Rare, Armor, Astron, Kiwi, Design, which are our sponsors for VRML, which are very nice and do help fund us in what we do here as a casting group and as a league organisation.
And of course, Nightfire's always pitching in money as well, which is probably one of your favorite casters to watch. He's always chipping in some money for those prizes as well.
He's a very wonderful guy, and he definitely supports this league, even if he's a bit harsh towards us. He's a very good guy and a very good caster, so if you ever do see him casting, he's the well experienced one here. As much as I want to say I'm a pretty good caster, you know, I don't compare as well to Nightfire, which has been doing it for multiple years. But yeah, he's a very good caster.
It does seem that the 5th player is back in the lobby, so we might get to see the round set up shortly, but if not, that's open. There it goes.
And just like that, we are going into gameplay into the round 1 again. That team has all 5 players. No timeout was needed, as I did join in within the time period which is permitted. And they should be starting very, very soon. The objective is going to be if you look on the map, kind of that northeast crane objective. Very Volk-sided objective here. Going to be very difficult for LatinForce to kind of get that cap on, so we'll be interested to see how they will be doing it. Some pre-fires coming out from Argentino, trying to catch any players which are pushed up. Navio on that ship with, of course, I believe it's Ivans, starting to make their way across. Trying to see if anybody has pushed up. Some more pre-fires are coming out. Nice there, nice pick there from, nice pick onto Ryan and Shoy, get taken out. Ryan is down, but probably will be confirmed. Ryan will be confirmed from Ivans, and that is 2 players down for that team.
That's not a good situation you want to be in within the first few minutes of the round, but we saw it before, and we most likely will see it again, that team will be able to hold off and maybe even win this round again.
So they might be able to kind of prevail through the coming up moments. We'll be very excited to see if they can kind of get it back. Dig is kind of in this very common little spot here between these little drop section next to the AC roof. So if Nava did come up, might have an angle onto Dig. Dig's position is very crucial to kind of holding down that objective, as they cannot push down ramps. Out goes a flashbang, which a very nice flash might hit Dig in the face, so I believe he is flashed. is going to be taken out from Ivans though, so that's going to be a massive relief off LatinForce's shoulders here. Ivans will be downed from Lone Senpai. Of course, Ivans will be revived. Kuma almost takes out Vlad here. Lone Senpai just trying to make that cross. Will be obliterated though from Ivans. Leaving it all up to Kuma in a 1v5 situation on the objective. It is not going to be looking good. And just like that, it is over.
Vero takes out Kamar.
Another point going for LatinForce. They are killing it so far. Might see them securing the second point on the Vault defense, so could be interesting to see how they will be playing this. So it is very hard to kind of cast and commentate right now with my throat burning, so please do forgive me for kind of the unenthusiastic casting as I normally do. So hopefully I should get better soon and I shouldn't have to cough every 5 seconds, but it's alright, I'm here for the fun of it, and I did miss it, so it's do forgive me in some ways. But I say, Tbnroil, what's your thoughts for this next coming up round?
Well, with LatinForce being able to pick off 2 of the enemies right away, and then picking up Dig up on the as a third, I think LatinForce is going to have the momentum, especially with taking the last map, and with that team then losing, they could bring it back and maybe cap, and this is a very capable objective, as I believe it is most. And of course, under my opinion, the most capable objective on Shipyard. So I think that team, knowing that they are going to use flashes and smokes to push the objective, could cap, but it really does come down to who can take over third story and ship as well.
Yeah, ship control is crucial for this objective. Whoever has ship kind of locked down will kind of most definitely win it. Because, you know, ship can kind of look down upon you and easily get a few picks onto you. So having ship locked down is massive for either side.
It's just a longer route.
We'll be seeing the standard spawn from
I got a feeling they're gonna try and probably
that team, so they will be kind of pushing off, trying to take as much of their time as possible, trying to make that ground. Might be trying to secure middle map if they can, of course. Middle map, middle building, of course, which will be massive for them. We are going to be seeing quite a very aggressive push here from Vlad. Nice little put there onto Dig from Argentino. Vlad kind of holding down that south. He's kind of locked it down. He's in a very aggressive position. Still kind of waiting to see how that team will kind of be pushing up. We do see Lone Senpai, if we do check over to here, is kind of on that roof. Is kind of looking across to the Vault spawn building, just trying to see if anybody will be pushing up to the top. Argentina might be considering it, but I believe he's just trying to get close to the objective currently. If you were that team, oh jeez, not a C4 from Ivans. Was about to ask a question, but then instantly like that gets shut down. But TB, if you were that team currently, how would you be trying to address pushing against LatinForce? How would you kind of like get players to work together to kind of maybe try to get a few points down?
So from what I am seeing from this team is that they have left the center pretty open. If I were on that team, I would try and push center because they've left the center completely open, and it is completely possible for them to sneak by the enemy and just cap. I mean, there is no one sitting on objective, and no one relatively near. With people being on the ship, it is easy to see, but it is also hard for them to get some of these. I mean, to stop them from going through the center and just capping. There is nothing there, and it might bite them in the butt with Shorty being able to run up there if they just crawl under Ivan's line, which I think is very possible.
So it's very possible to see, but you know, it would be very fun to see. Like, look at that cap. Once Sniffer does push up, we'll be taken out from being too aggressive.
He's on the ramp. Hold on, I'm looking real quick.
Shorty trying to make that cross. If he crosses it, Ivan's is kind of peeking out. Oh no, that's onward timing for you. Pure onward timing. Shorty unfortunately doesn't catch him. The revive. Ivans will be taken out though from Shorty in the result.
Argentino does crash back onto objective, which is great for them.
Say we could well possibly see a cap here. If Shorty does get the pick, and he does. He could get this cap.
Shorty run in. Unfortunately, he does not have the eyes in the skies that we do, and it does, yeah, and it does look like the Placencia getting a bit aggressive here. It's not going to help.
Out goes a nade towards place. Out goes a counter flash and a second flash as he just try to rotate back to blue room. Excellent flashbang. Surely could go for this cap. He just needs to push to the objective.
Unfortunately, not knowing where the last two enemies are, could hinder them.
He could go for that cap. Surely he's going for it. He is going for that cap. He has all the time in the world he ever needs. This is going to be a definite cap for that team from Shorty. Securing 2 points for their team. A massive, huge result for that team, getting those 2 points down on the board. Yeah, another cap for their team. Gonna have to see if that team can try to keep it up. And saying their name keeps messing me up, I must be honest. They have like purposely chosen that name just to annoy me. I'm convinced.
And I 100% agree with you.
It's like that team. I don't know, something about that just feels wrong to me.
What team are we addressing? You know,
No, I don't know. The thing is, to me, it feels very condescending. It's just like that team. That team is doing that. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I hate addressing people as that. So it's maybe that's just my POV. If anyone asks me to why, I just act as if I was the magnet towards the crane. Do not ask a question. But yes. Anyway, the objective has moved, as the objective is going to be moving down to the western the western container building, my bub. There we go, call outs. Warehouse, western warehouse, there we go. The thing which stores boxes and containers, a warehouse, there we go. It's going to be the western warehouse. It will be the western center objective, so very hard to cap for LatinForce. This is a very box-sided objective. I hate this objective, especially on Marsog. It's so hard to get that cap on.
I mean, with that, if a Marsog team does get a few decent picks off onto them, it is actually pretty easy to cap. Being able to surround them from 4 different sides, having an entrance on every single side of the warehouse, which is unfortunate for us, as I just passed a player in there screaming no caps. This one's a hard one. Yeah.
So we will be kind of seeing a stereotypical approach for maybe a ship push. Do see Flad, which is in the south. It needs to worry about Shorty. Shorty is watching a very aggressive angle underneath this truck.
Yeah, Valde is not careful enough, they will get picking off.
I don't think he'll be expecting this type of angle. You know, it is very easy to see it as we do see their tracer and their name appearing, but for a player POV, this is what he kind of sees right now without any form of, zooming in. He is almost invisible. He looks like a tire. As we can zoom in, you can see his player model a bit more, but it'll be very hard for Vlad to kind of get that angle down. Has spotted him though, regardless. Doesn't catch any shots unfortunately, but he did spot him.
was able to make Shorty rotate out of their position, which is a good thing, especially when you want to push this objective.
Some shots going ahead. Kuma is kind of peeking around. Kind of wait to see if anyone's pushing out. Argentina will be taken out from Dig. Definite revive by the go ahead though, as Argentina is very safe. Let's pick there onto Vlad from Dig.
What a great angle that is.
A tight one. Vlad. Oh, Kuma will be absolutely obliterated. Down goes placing out from Ryan. You never want to push out of smoke. It is a risky option to want to push out of smoke. You just get caught off so hugely. Smoking onward, it just completely blinds you. When I push out with smoke, it is a risky run, to say at least. Ooh, nice pick there. Onto Navarro. English is hard sometimes.
Wow, Ivan's gonna struggle to push here, as getting shot at from multiple angles is not something they really want to be dealing with right now. But with it being a 4v2, it's gonna be harder for LatinForce, the last few LatinForce members to take this, but Ivans does pick off Ryan in the objective room.
Down goes Dig from Argentino, leaving us down to a 2v2 situation coming up. Is going to be Ivans and Argentino versus Lone Senpai and Shorty. Say, LatinForce could well and truly get it back here, but saying that, fat team. They just need to kind of hold together, and they've easily got this.
You know, if that team is not careful enough, Argentino can crawl in through the back behind the truck and out.
Ooh, Lone Senpai almost gets shot in the head.
Yeah, he's in there. Just watch OBJ, watch OBJ.
Unfortunately, there's a glass pane in the way.
Actually, I didn't realize you could actually stand on those AC units, which is interesting. Not a trade. That's going to be a huge trade, leaving us down to a 1v1. 40 seconds on the clock. Ivans versus Senpai. Oh ho ho! And a C4 ending the round. What a C4 from Lone Senpai. Ending it off with a bang, literally. What a way to end off a round for that team.
No, that's great Onward. That's a great Onward play. And for those who don't know, VRML just announced their new clips contest. I believe they're doing. You are able to enter clips, and so you can use that of what you just saw and enter that in and try and get some around $15 for submitting the best clip. So if you want to make some money, just join the Discord and submit that.
$15, I can buy almost, what is that, about 20 Freddos? Man, that's a deal. Let's say, what is the actual, I've only just heard about this recently. I know there is currently an event going on for that best clips going on, which have to be a casted clip from has to be a community cast, and it has to be casted. But I don't actually know what is the deal with it. It is a $15 reward for the best clip. Ah, fair enough. I've actually never heard of it yet until this point, so you have told me about it, so thank you for informing me.
Yeah, so it's whoever submits that clip first. So before Glue Sniffers Glue submits that clip, you might want to go do that real quick before he decides he's gonna make himself some money. So yeah, and with that round, I mean, just the C4 placement was great, and I didn't see it, and I didn't even see it coming. Next thing you know, the round was over, and we are heading on to round number 4.
surprised you keep track of rounds, because I don't. Let's move on to round 4. Should be very exciting to see how that team are going to be doing it. Will they be trying to get it back? They could well and truly win this round for their team. Make it down to a tiebreaker map, which is always the best map. That's when all the stress and tears come out. And you say about making some money for me, I already have plenty of money for my glue selling business.
Ah, glue. Okay.
I'm like the mafia. I'm like the mafia leader for glue bottles. Nice pick there onto Shorty from Vlad. From the same position which was played previously. It feels interesting to kind of watch how these teams are kind of now playing on this map, because originally when it came out for season 14, every single team I played against was bad at it and it was great, but now you see people like laying underneath, shooting underneath cars. It's just like, I see.
Oh yeah.
Map
And
has been studied.
Definitely with the players who have been playing for a long time. This has been in and out of the map pool for seasons now, and is one of my favorite maps to play. But yeah, with older players coming in with more of an advantage, and definitely with LatinForce playing in season 12 with the rotating map pool in that time, it helps them a lot. So,
oh, what is going on with this player model just there? Senpai just morphed into a different character. Clearly, it was just in his morphing stage going up the staircase, but Narvolo barely misses him as Lone Senpai does climb up that staircase, barely, so that does help Lone Senpai. He might be trying to get a spot onto any players, which will be in the open. He has been spotted from place by the looks of it.
yeah.
That's picked in, he will be taking them out.
Placencia with a great pick there. I believe only being able to see their head at that moment. Beautiful pick by Placencia.
Oh, Ryan will be tagged on the staircase. We'll be trying to retreat down to the second level on middle. Guess he wasn't expecting that. Oh, nice little pet there from Dig onto Ivans. Leaving us down to a 4v3.
Anyone's ball game right now.
Out goes a nade. Doesn't catch anyone off. Some smokes from Ryan. Still trying to push up towards Narvo's position. Narvo might have a second shot at his same angle, and he will be taking out Ryan. What a stair angle. We do see that Ryan's body is sadly ragdolling down the stairs, falling down onto the ship floor. And it's now going to be down to a 2v4 for LatinForce. Or for that team, I should say. Take that back. It is now going to be a 2v3. That team still has a chance to win this. It's just going to be difficult.
But do they have enough time with how slow they're pushing right now? I don't think they have enough time to be pushing this. I think they're going to need to push faster if they want to take this round, especially with the time running out, almost coming down to a minute, which is going to... All these players' hearts are going to start beating faster, the adrenaline's going to be kicking in more. It's going to be close.
It's going to be very close. 1 minute and Onward was like 20 seconds, I swear. Across the map flashbang from Placinion onto Kuma. That is just a, that has to be a flashbang and a half. That's an insult to injury type of flashbang. With only 40 seconds remaining, they need to rush it now. At 30 seconds, all players will receive a radio beep, which would state how much time they have left. Dig, oh, might get spotted here from Argentino. Kuma just dropped down, just trade with Narvolo.
Dig, don't get caught up in that. Argentino does have an angle and does get the pick off onto Dig. And great defense from LatinForce.
So LatinForce had a very solid defense, kind of locking it down, and we will be saying that we'll be seeing the next objective is going to be the North Ship objective, which will be in between these little boxes and these crates in the center. Which I must admit, I kind of love this objective. It has to be kind of my favorite objective out of all of them, because it's actually really fun to kind of jump between all the crate spots and go on the top of it and go in between them. Going this little crack here, as you can see, is a very powerful little spot. Going to be able to look down on the objective, but do need to kind of worry about any flashbangs and C4s. We do see that there's a common C4 spot inside this little middle section here, which is kind of like an archway for Mavsog to push into. It's allowed them to kind of have this cover, kind of have this little bit of freedom, this breathing space, but because of how wide and open it is and how easy it is for a Vault to reach, a nice little flashbang, or a nice little C4 I should say, being set up is very common to see. Might see the stereotypical aggressive push with a flashbang over this container, looking down the ramp. It is a very risky play, and it may pay off massively for that team if they are going to be doing it. Might get that, 1 or 2 picks down, maybe even 3, depending on how many people will be going through ship. So it's going to be an interesting one.
And with them spawning on the ship, it gives them a better advantage to just rush up through the ship, and they can get to the other side of the ship before the team can get onto the ship, which is unfortunate for LatinForce. If they're not careful enough, that team member could shut down the entire push onto the ship from close to their spawn. So
you got this. This is you.
it's going to be a gamble. I don't know if LatinForce wants to risk the person pushing up, but if they do, it could work in favor of them.
We're that team.
We're that team. Surely we'll be doing, by the looks of it, that kind of play I did mention. Is pushing up with a PKM. But looking over to LatinForce, I've just noticed they're going for a Southern push. I have never seen Southern push just going to pick onto Lone Senpai. This is huge. This has totally diverted that team. That's a second pick onto Dig. This is, I'm going to be honest, I don't think anybody was expecting to see a 4-man South push from LatinForce. It's just not a very common type of attack strategy, so seeing this, it's looking good so far.
Shorty having to push back and giving up that hold onto the ship, which will allow for Navarro to be able to push up, but Navarro's holding a very tight angle here onto 3-story building.
Está ahí en medio, y uno. Abajo, está ahí en medio, ahí arriba, güey, ¿no?
We'll be kind of waiting to see if LatinForce can try to spot any players. That team is going to be kind of laying down, kind of not moving too much. A very nice smoke, I just want to say, was thrown across the map. Out goes a flashbang. Out goes some flashes and more smokes. They're trying to smoke off this team. Ryan, trying to get an angle. Trying to cover anything. Throws a nade.
But Ryan not being, or that team not being undetermined to quit.
Oh, it's down to a 2v5. LatinForce first in the world. Place looking down upon the heavens. It is pick after pick. Kumar trying to go for it, but will be taken out. Leaving it down to a 3-3.
Yeah, 6th round decider, which you don't get to say much. But
yeah, I mean, it's normally a 7-round decider, and that's when the true pain begins. Playing 7 rounds on one map. I think the worst 7-round decider has to be when you played 7 rounds of like Downfall. That is just pure agony.
I might even argue Abandoned would be much worse.
Oh, I've put the wrong scores in. Please do forgive me, it is actually 3-3, not 4-2. But yes, it is 3-3. It will be kind of seeing who will be winning this last round. Will it be LatinForce or will it be that team? Who do you think, TB? Who do you think will be securing this last map? Or say this last map, this last point?
I think that with LatinForce's expertise, it could go towards them, but with that team's, I mean, with their caps, it's gonna be close.
It's gonna be a very, very close game, of course, but we do have to hope it's sake of that team, which is the underdog, as they are the brand new team, do have an overall higher player MMR because of their experienced league players on the team. But I say it will be interesting to see. You know, LatinForce, it does have that team and its grasp currently. LatinForce needs to just win this one last point, and then they have won this match entirely because it is best of 3. Whoever wins the first 2 maps or wins the first and the third one will secure it. So it's always important to make sure to try your hardest in every map you play. Moving away into round 6. I forgot to play the round 5 starter thing, so do forgive me. So this cast has been a bit of a it's been less of a super hyper focused one, to be honest. It's just nice to get back to it. I haven't been feeling my best, but so I did miss it, so here we are.
I mean, it is alright. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. for you, so...
It is 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'm casting, having a good time. So I know these teams won't mind too much for this cast. Iron Ryan now on the middle second roof. Will be taken out though from place here. Pick 4 of LatinForce there. Dig will be trying to push up the stairs. Maybe trying to get that refrag on the place here. Place might be securing a second pick. Ooh. Place does get tagged but doesn't get downed or killed.
Yeah, Placente is gonna have to be careful here not to back up too much and walk right straight off the back of the opening here.
Ooh. Argentina will be getting the pick onto Dig. Doing a very good job so far, LatinForce. Putting lots of force onto them. No pun intended, I just realized what I just said. It is going to be a 5v3. Kuma debating on a push up. Out goes a flash. Does it hit Filder? It does.
Aldi's going to have to... Aldi gives her position away.
I think Volder's already discovered as he was speaking. Has Lone Semper come around the corner. Does get the pick. Onto Lone Semper. Why does that PKM sound so slow? Is it just me, but does that PKM just sound slower? End up with a refrag.
1v4 here for LatinForce.
It is all up to Shorty. Was it just me, but was that PKM did it just sound extremely slow? Or was it just me?
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to the sound. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I'll clip it later. I'll send it to you. It sounded very slow for some reason. You know how it's like a duh 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 duh. It just sounded like a duh duh duh. Random.
Maybe they were deciding to, you know, force click
single
yeah.
fire PKM. An interesting choice.
I mean, there's no button to make it single fire, so you're gonna have to just, you know, click it yourself. But I mean, if that's what you want to do,
if that's what you want to do, go for it. But I don't know why you want to.
You got like 700 rounds or something. I would use that.
How many rounds does a PKM have? Is it like I think it's 150 per mag.
And you get 4 mags, I think. So about 600.
Is it 4 mags? I think it's 3 mags. Well, actually,
yeah,
no. Actually, it's 3 mags in your reserve and 1 mag already loaded in. So yeah, you do get 4 mags, which You know, as it's an LMG, that is a lot.
I think for the LMG, you only get 3 total. I think you only load them with 2.
Possibly. Shorty's gonna get murdered, yeah. And just like that, Argentina just get the pick onto Shorty, which was facing the wrong direction, and it will be a LatinForce's win for the second map, and it is overall gonna be a LatinForce's match win for this evening. Of course, we do
don't
have.
go anywhere.
Well, yeah, don't go anywhere yet.
Yeah.
We still have the third map, which is mandatory, despite it being a LatinForce win. Say it is now up to see if that team can try to get a few more points down on the board. Maybe try to win the third map, but we will be seeing a change. And oh well, I guess you kind of can guess from a little bit of the call on the screen, it is going to be cargo, ladies and gentlemen. Cargo. Pure hell is upon us. The smallest and the most aggressive and quickest map out there. Cargo has to be one of the most loved by NA teams, I must admit. It is more of an NA played map compared to the EU side of things, but it's going to be interesting to see how these teams do play it. I expect there's going to be loads of flashes, nades and smokes being going out within the first 10 seconds, so I am excited to see.
And thank you for everyone who's been sitting in the chat and typing. We really appreciate all of you guys tuning in and watching this beautiful cast that is being done by Glue and I tonight. And
We're very sick Glue over here. You know, it's like I'm over here on my last legs, but I'm still casting, having a good time, at least. Even if I sound like I've aged 20 years and I don't have much long left, but we're still having a good time. I didn't even hear the countdown start for some reason. It's just gone straight into the first round for cargo.
it's going to be the Diamond to Death objective.
The Ring of Diamonds, my favorite objective for the attack and defense at the same time. Being capped on this objective is super easy. So it will be a great effort for LatinForce to make sure to lock it down. But as you can just see, it is just flashbang, smokes and nades and just pure for everything. And just like that, it is down to a 3v3. Down goes Ryan from Ivans. Down to a 1v3. Lone Senpai, the last man standing for his team.
I mean, he's, according to his name, he's used to being alone. So maybe this is when he does his best being alone. And it could work out for them. I mean, it's in their name.
Who needs a team anyway? Boy, Betty almost gets taken out from Ivan. Out goes for a second nade. How many nades and flashbangs does this man have stuffed in his back pocket? Does come round, does get pick onto Narvolo. This swing round does get Ivans. Jesus, might get placed in her hair. He can well and truly win this.
Team, if they do get past Placencia or throw a smoke on this cross, it would be the end for. Of course, Placencia does rotate back around though, so we'll save their team spin.
Just saying, what a clip just then. What a nice double kill.
It's going to hinder Placencia's vision of you.
Lone Senpai is aware of Placencia's general location. Placencia does pick up, and he's left with a trade, and it is going to be that team's win. What a way to end off a round.
Especially with, like I said, them being alone maybe is the best option for them, and it certainly did pay off in the end.
Alone and sad with my thoughts.
And one with a 4-piece there, which is incredible.
A 4th piece at KFC, my favorite. Anyway, That's to me the most out of context thing I've ever said in my car.
Oh, well, at least we're having a good time.
Now this is going to be the most irrelevant question to Onward and VML, but what's your favourite item at KFC? I need answers, goddammit! Not silences!
You gotta remember a 6-minute delay.
Anyway, still haven't answered my question, but moving into round 2.
Probably, you know, I don't know. I don't eat there. Mashed
Like,
potatoes, we'll put that.
It's just, I don't, do they serve mashed potatoes? Maybe in America KFC, I don't know.
Yeah, they do here.
Fair enough.
I believe they do in Europe as well.
No, they don't. I've had KFC in France, Germany, and in the UK. They don't have it there. Nice flashbang, no, nice multiple flashbangs. C4 didn't work out. Lads rushing through, just gonna pick. We'll be going for that cap. We'll be absolutely obliterated though. Dig, does TK. I don't even want to bother reading at this point. It's over.
Wow.
I don't even.
Seconds.
You know what, right?
Wow.
You know what? Screw reading. I'm really dyslexic as it is. I can't be bothered to read all the things which are going on. It's over on the second round. I can tell you. You still don't answer my question. Mashed potato. Okay, mashed potato.
Yeah.
A weak choice, fair enough, but I'd have to say the popcorn chicken. Magnificent.
You see, I've eaten KFC in Europe, and I swear I had mashed potatoes.
Maybe I'm high, but I've been to Germany, France, and of course England, which I live. I've had KFC. I've never seen mashed potatoes ever listed as an option, unless
I've eaten it in Austria, so I don't know.
Unless it's like a side, like maybe like an additional bonus side option. I'm not exactly sure, but it's not such an odd conversation to be having whilst Cargo's playing. We'll be seeing quite aggressive pushes here, going from LatinForce, leaving it down to a 4v4. Lad, we'll be peeking around, just get tagged, doesn't get taken out though. Just for a flash. Just gonna come out, just get taken out from Ryan. Should have just retreated.
Yeah, leaving LatinForce's team a bit vulnerable through the middle here.
Oh, nice nade from Argentino. Lone Zimmer's trying to go for that cap. Will be able to, and he will be getting that cap, and it will be a VAT team win for the third map. What a way to end it off.
I don't think this map lasted longer than 8 minutes, to be honest.
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, with my ruined voice and my dying attitude. Thank you all very much for showing up to the cast, and it has been game. LatinForce will be securing this match win, and of course that team will be securing the third map. Overall, a very exciting game, and the overall score is going to be 12-9. Oh, not 12-9. What am I now? 8-9. So, is it?
No,
yeah.
I think it's 8-8.
No,
8-8. Yeah, it's 8-8.
Is it
2-3-5? No, 8-9. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 8-9. It's going to be an 8-9 score going for that team. So. No,
well, no. I mean, they ended up losing, but
well, no, for LatinForce, so yeah. I mean, still a very highly regarded, very exciting game. You can clearly tell that I'm not very aware currently, but please do regard it. But thank you very much, everyone who did show up. A very exciting match which did occur. Thank for TB for showing up and being a nice co-caster and helping me for my dying voice and my dying overall throat entirely, but. It's been an absolute blast. This has been Onward, VML out. Huge thanks to our sponsors, of course, which do fund what we do here, and of course paying for, all the league and such. And do thank you to everyone else which is involved. This has been Onward, VML out for this evening. Goodbye, adios amigos.